Hi, so you've arrived at part 3 of Kara's enormously embarrassing enormous book collection. This video will include all the books that I currently have in my possession here in my apartment. There is a lot of them. I think I counted it at 40 books here, which I'll try to run through as quickly as possible. This may be split up into a further 2 videos, just depending on time restraints. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to run through these as quickly as possible. I have covers to show you, and I'll be piling the stack just here, where you will see my pain. Okay, let's get started. First on the list is Bitter Greens by Kate Forsyth. This is a historical novel that I picked up on discount, I think because it's slightly damaged. Possibly. Anyway, it was on discount when I bought this. My mum pointed it out to me and I was like, I like her. If you watched my last couple of videos in this collection, I love Kate Forsyth's young adult, middle grade series. If you watched my last couple of videos in this collection, you will know that I love Kate Forsyth's middle grade novels that are in a series called Chain of Charms. I really love that series. This one is an adult novel, but I love historical adult novels, so this one hopefully is really exciting. It's about, it tells the story a bit of Rapunzel from my memory, and in kind of a historical Rapunzel way. So this looks to be really good and I'm really excited to read it when I get to it. Next in the list is The Dragons of Winter by James A. Owen. This is the 6th and second last book in the Chronicles of the Imaginarium Geographica series. I really loved the first 5, and I really want to pick up the next one, but I just haven't got around to picking that one up yet. And this one is, I'll probably read this next month. It's on my possible TBR list. It's on my possible TBR list for next month. So you might see me reading and reviewing this next month, despite the fact that it came out possibly 2 years ago. What a horrible person I am. This series is really gorgeous and it looks at the historical aspects in a fantasy way. Historical aspects is the wrong way to put it. It looks at what could have been possibly the basis of J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis having written their series. The other main character in this, other than J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis as young men and further on into life, I don't really know the other ones so well. I can't remember his name actually, to be honest. He's a poet, one that I haven't really read much of, but apparently has high fantasy poetry is how he fits into this tale. And this series is just gorgeous. It has very structured chapters, which I actually kind of enjoy, and it has regular artwork. Let me just find something for you. It has this beautiful, beautiful artwork dispersed all the way through, and it's just gorgeous. I really love this series. I love it. I just need to get around to reading this one ASAP. The next book I have here is Bones of the Lost by Katherine Reiss. I really love Katherine Reiss' writing style. I think it really embedded my love for science at a young age when I was really a reader. I've read all of her adult novels since I was about 15. I worked through them from the library, and as they've come out, I reached for them. This one came out late last year, and I just haven't got around to reading it yet because other things have caught my attention, but it is also on my list of things to read next month, which I'll put in a video. I'm going to stop talking about what I'm reading next month because I'm going to make a video about that. Really excited to read this. Next on the list is Diviners by Libba Bray. This book I think it got a lot of hype. I wasn't really around at the time, but its cover is gorgeous. I feel sorry for you Americans who don't have this cover because it is gorgeous. Yes, it's huge and it's trade paper and big and not a hardcover, which you all seem to just have hardcovers and it's weird. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I'm really, really excited to read this book. Oh man, I'm so excited for the second one to come out too. I also really like, this is set in 1920s New York, and it sneakily has, from what I've been told, killings from the point of view of the murderer. So the reader is aware of things that the main character is not aware of, and that's something I'm really excited to read. I think it'll be a little bit creepy. I think this book will be gorgeous. Everything by Libba Bray that I've read so far has been a mix of creepy and gorgeous. So I'm excited for this one. Things are falling over! Next on my list is 2 books in what will ultimately be a trilogy, but these are the only 2 so far out. This is The Map of Time and The Map of the Sky by Felix J. Palmer. These books have been translated into English, and I don't know if that detracts from them or what, because I've half read The Map of Time and I found it really interesting but a bit slow to get into, and something else came up that I really wanted to read, so I didn't finish it. But I also picked up The Map of the Sky when it came out because this series, the covers are gorgeous, gorgeous. This reminded me a lot of the Infernal Devices covers with the shadowy man. But I'm really excited to read these. I'm pretty sure they don't follow the same characters, but they're all interested in time travel and that kind of aspect. So, really excited for these when I get around to them and finally get into this one, because I think it deserves some good time spent on it. Next, I have The Last Trilogy by Michael Adams. This is the first one, The Last Girl, and then The Last Shot. The Last Shot just came out very recently, The Last Girl late last year, possibly. They're coming out really quickly, and I'm really excited to read these. They're dystopian. This girl Danby finds out that when everyone else can read other people's minds, all of a sudden she doesn't. She hears everyone else, but they can't hear her. And I think it's a really interesting concept. And I'm really excited to read this series. I picked it up relatively recently. And man, I'm excited! Next I have Tough Voyaging by George R.R. Martin. I picked this up because it's George R.R. Martin. I haven't got around to it yet. This is a science fiction book, not fantasy. But I love the way he crafts his worlds, and this is quite an old book, but it's George R.R. Martin. His writing style can't have changed that much, and I love the way he writes, so I'm hoping I'll really enjoy this. The next 3 books are The Secrets of the Eternal Rose Trilogy by Fiona Paul. I haven't really seen this series talked about that much, the first one being Venom, then Belladonna, then Starling. I haven't really seen them talked about that much, but they're gorgeous covers, and I've been told that they were not what people expected. So I'm really excited to give them a try. As you can see, I own the whole trilogy. I just have to read it, and I'm excited to do so. Oh, we just had a collapse. Ooh. Next we have 2 books by Jennifer E. Smith. This is The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight, and This Is What Happy Looks Like. These are cute contemporary reads from what I'm aware of. The new one by Jennifer E. Smith being The Geography of You and Me. I picked these up on a discount at Kmart, 2 for 1, in a 2 for 1 pack. And so I have them, and I really want to read them, and I'm excited about them. Yay! The next ones I have here are The Raven Boys and The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. I really loved the first book in the Mercy Falls trilogy, Wolves of Mercy Falls, which was Shiver. I can't remember whether I've read Linger in Forever. It's just skipping my mind. So I'm intending to purchase the whole series because I borrowed the first one off a friend and read them all. But Maggie Stiefvater just gets my attention. These books are gorgeous, and even naked they're gorgeous. Let me show you. Let me show you him naked. I love this brown colour. It just, And this, it's subtle, but really pretty and caught my attention. Plus, the silver lettering. How cute is that? Ah. So this series is about a girl who's been prophesized to know that to kill or know that her true love will die. Her true love will die. And she doesn't think she'll ever fall in love. You know, that's a thing you would think, maybe. And then, you know, of course, drama happens, I'm sure. But yeah, it looks really gorgeous. I'm really excited to read these. And Maggie Stiefvater. The third one's also coming out soon, as I remember. Next we have another series by Maggie Stiefvater, and that is Lament and Ballad. This one is a fairy novel series, and I'm pretty sure a new one's coming out really soon, which is strange because this is one of the first Maggie Stiefvater series written. But I'm not complaining because I'll have more Maggie Stiefvater. Her writing is gorgeous. So I'm going to enjoy these when I get to them and enjoy the third one when it comes out. Next we have The Name of the Star and The Madness Underneath by Maureen Johnson. I really want to read these. I read The Key to the Golden Firebird by Maureen Johnson when I was much younger and I loved it. I know this is going to be very different, but I hear a lot of good things about her, so I'm excited. The only sad bit is I really liked this cover. This cover was what drew my attention in the first place, and this cover, not so much. I'm not a fan so much. So I'm sad that they no longer match. It was a bad cover change in my opinion, but this one probably represents the book a bit better than this does. So, you never know. This is about a Jack the Ripper coming back to life kind of thing. So I'm excited to read these. So it's pretty new. And the pile's getting bigger. Next, I have this book, which is 11 Doctors, 11 Stories. All of these are by different authors, as you can probably see. We have a good ones that I really like. I really like Ian Colfer. I really like Michael Scott. I really like Charlie Higson. And I really like Neil Gaiman. And I've heard of everyone else and heard good things about everyone else. I just haven't read them. So I'm really excited to read this book. It's got 11 stories about all 11 reincarnations of the Doctor leading up to the 12th reincarnation. And Doctor Who. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you should read this book because it looks amazing and it's shiny. Coming up now, we have a couple of series by Meg Cabot. The first is this Insatiable series. This is the first and the second one in this series. I haven't started reading them yet. They look really interesting. I remember when the previews came out for Insatiable back in the day on Meg Cabot's website, and it looked really good. It's about vampire stuff. So Mina Harper, the protagonist of this novel, knows how people are going to die, which catches my fancy. I really loved lots of Meg Cabot's older things. I think some of her newer stuff doesn't live up to the standard I'm used to from her, but I'm really excited to give these a shot and see what happens. This next series, I only have the second and third ones here to show you. The first one I've already read, so it's not here. These ones by Meg Cabot are kind of what I mean by lowering standards. These ones just weren't as good, or at least the first one wasn't, as her older stuff. But I was interested to see how the series ended, because it did end pretty interesting. It's a sort of Persephone retelling, and I really liked the concept. I didn't like the writing that much. I didn't find the first one, too engaging, but I'm excited to see how the series finishes, and I'll see it through to the end. Next, we have 3 books by Katherine Reiss, all of which are in her young adult section. So they're co-written with Brendan Reiss, who I assume is her son or husband, though I'm not 100% sure. I read the first one in this series and really enjoyed it, and I own the next 3. So we start off with Seizure, then Code, And then finally, Exposure, which came out just recently. I'm really excited to read these. These are not so sciencey like her other ones, but they're really engaging young adult reads about werewolves, kind of, but to a genetic level. They're not really werewolves. They're genetically different, let's say that. This series is really good, and I'm excited to read the rest of them. The next book I have here is Molly Moon and the Monster Music by Georgia Byrne. This series is a middle grade series about a girl, her best friend, that are both in an orphanage, and their pug dog, Petunia. Oh gosh, it's cute and adorable and really engaging for younger readers. And I just really loved this action-adventure, kind of girly, not too girly series. So I'm excited to read this most recent one, even though I'm sure I'm probably currently a bit too old for it. Next we have The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This book, which I did pick up on an uncorrected proof, I just haven't read it yet, is supposed to be really good. It's a fantasy series about killer horses. That's kind of the deal. And it's a standalone from what I remember, though perhaps there's a new one added to the series recently or is coming out soon. But from what I'm aware, this was intended as a standalone, and I'm really excited to read this. I've heard great things about it, and it's Maggie Stiefvater. Enough said. I can't reach. Next we have two books by Jackie French. Jackie French is an Australian author who writes very Australian books, but gosh, her writing style is really in-depth and she does a lot of research on what she does. These are her first kind of more advanced readers almost. She's had stuff for more advanced readers before, but this is the first one that's really got my attention. So it starts with A Waltz for Matilda, and then The Girl from Snowy River, and the third one in the series is The Road to Gundagai, if I remember. They're all about different girls, but it's supposed to be really good. I have met her in person, and she taught wonderfully, and she possibly signed my copy of Matilda right there. So I'm really excited to give this series a really good go, and I'm excited. Next, we have Let It Snow by John Green, Lauren Miracle, and Maureen Johnson. Everyone's probably heard about this. I'm pretty sure it's been out quite a while in America, though it only recently got published here in the UK. So I'm really excited to read these short stories. John Green and I'm sold. So that's about all I have to say about this. It's Christmas, it's John Green, and I'm there. Next, we have Warp by Ian Colfer. This is like the new Artemis Fowl, if that makes sense. So it's trying to get the same kind of audience with young, really interesting young protagonists. It's a middle grade novel. It's actually, the first one in the series is The Reluctant Assassin. The second one comes out pretty soon. I can't remember the title. And I just want to read this because Artemis Fowl was amazing, and Ian Colfer is 80% of the time, 90% of the time, amazing. So I want to give this a try, especially before the next one comes out, if I can. We're almost done. I only have 6 more books to show you, and 2 of those I hope to have finished by this end of this month. Next, we have Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This has got lots of praise for being a really good thriller. It's going to be made into a movie, from what I can tell. And look, thriller of the year. I picked this up because it looks gorgeous. Gorgeous is probably the wrong term for it. It's a crime novel, a thriller, a crime thriller. But I'm really excited to read it. Apparently, there's a plot twist you would never have seen coming. And from the blurb, you think you know what you're seeing coming. So I'm excited to read this and find out what I'm not seeing coming. We're almost out of frame. I'm going to have to put all these back when I'm done. Next, I have 2 standalone novels by Kat Patrick. First is Originals, and the second is Revived. I really loved her first novel, Forgotten, and again, these go along the same kind of concept, not the same premise, but the same kind of premise. So Revived is about a girl who has died a number of times and keeps getting brought back to life and how that affects her life. And the Originals is about clones and how that affects their life. They live, the three of them, as one person. They look identical, they're clones, they live as one person. And just the way Kat Patrick writes and the way she builds tension and interesting premises is just gorgeous. So I'm excited to read these. Next, we have 1Q84 by Murakami. This one, I've heard so many good things about this. It is essentially 3 novels in one volume. And how gorgeous is the cover? It's just the concept. It's a play on 1984 by George Orwell. And it's just, it looks gorgeous. I've heard so many good things. Okay, so the last 2 books I'm not going to add to this crazy stack. We're touching top of frame now, so I'm not going to even try. And besides, I hope to have these 2 books finished by the end of the month, and then they won't be on my horrible collection list. So those 2 novels are Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver, which is about a girl who relives her last day on Earth over and over again until she can get it right, and Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, which you've all probably heard about, and I want to read really badly, because I am a fangirl, and I want to know how to live my life better, and incorporate fangirlness into social interactions in a healthy way. These 2 books are really exciting, and I'm planning on reading them in between. And I plan on reading them in between the sections of my current big bahooza of the Time Traveller's Almanac, which has 4 big sections. So I'm currently also reading in the between the first 2 sections, The End Times by T. Michael Martin, and then I'll read the second section of the Time Traveller's Almanac, and then I'll read Before I Fall, and then after I read the 3rd section, I'll read Fangirl, and then the 4th section. And that's my plan for the rest of this month, other than City of Heavenly Fire, which of course comes out May 27th, and will be read in 2 days straight, knowing my history with Cassandra Clare books. And these are going to be exciting. Ooh. Yep. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this comes down to low enough time for me to reasonably upload. I don't think it'll happen. We'll see how it goes. This could have been broken up into 2 videos. You may have seen it as 2 videos right now. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have less of an embarrassing collection than I do right here. This would be an embarrassing collection if it were only this. That's sad. I hope you enjoyed all the videos, and I'll see you with my next video. Thanks, bye!